So let's go. Qc2. This move is played very successfully by many strong GMs like Mamedyanov, Dreyev, Sokolov, Sverch and many others. Now bc4 is fine. I will offer you to play another move instead of bc4, but I will shortly show what's here. White plays e4, d6, bishop c4. Idea is to easily develop other pieces after knight f3, castle and knight c3. With black we also develop our pieces through g6, bishop g7, castle, castle, knight c3. Now probably the best move is bishop a6, knight a6, and it's a very playable position. However, the move I prefer is b4. I think this is the strongest move and it's also the choice of Caruana. The idea is a bit deep. First, we don't let white knight on b1 be developed on c3, where, as we know, he would be placed the best. Second, in the queen side we are getting structure advantage because of the b4 pawn. And about the third I will tell you soon. Now, if white tries to put pressure on b4 pawn with move a3, we simply play a5. We start with this and not with d6, because after d6 we would lose a pawn b4. So we play a5, ab4, cb4. The thing here is that after d6 our knight will stay on c5 wonderfully. e4, if instead of e4 bishop d2, trying to get our pawn because of this pin, we don't blunder it, we can simply play knight a6, or there is maybe even stronger moves, e6. Now b4 pawn is protected and bishop will go to c5 or even e5. Like knight f3, queen c7, e4, knight a6, d6, bishop e7, knight c5, and because of the knight on c5 we are a little bit better. So bishop d2 move don't give anything white. Probably they should try to play with e4, but now we just play d6, knight f3, knight bd7, bishop d3, g6. So this is an unclear position, but it's much easier to play for black. We play just bishop g7, castle, knight c5, then we decide what we should do. With this bishop he goes to g4 or b7. After knight c5 our knight on f6 can come to d7. We remember about TV concept, so it's a very easy game for black. If white plays without a3 and play immediately e4, we just play d6. Now white can develop their pieces with three ways. If knight f3, g6, h3, white tries to somewhere avoid this bishop g4 move, because their knight on f3 is strong. Sometimes he will help e5 move, so h3 move is almost always useful. h3, bishop g7, bishop e2, castle, castle. And here is the third point why we played b4. We play e5. So if white doesn't take on e6, we'll have a very good King Indian position. As we know, in King Indian, black attacks on king side, white puts pressure on queen side. Here is an illustration of typical King's Indian type of position. Blacks go to f4, g5, h5, g4, and white put pressure with b4, c5. But because of the b4 pawn, queen side now is also ours, and white cannot put pressure there because they don't have moves b4, c5. And after knight h5 it will be a one-way game. If white played b3 now instead of knight f3, trying to develop their bishop through b2, g6, bishop b2, bishop g7, bishop d3, then again e5 with same idea as I explained while looking knight f3 move. After d6, probably the strongest move is f4, but now again we play g6, same idea as knight f3, bishop g7, bishop d3, castle, castle. Now e5 move is impossible because f4 pawn is there, but now we play just with e6. And again, we have a better version of modern Benoni opening with b4 pawn, and knight on b1 cannot be developed to c3. In my database I found some games that are illustrating all these ideas very well, so let's look some.